All right, welcome everybody to today's video. Today is just a follow-up to what I've been talking about in reference to the Trump tariffs. So I have to look at my phone here because there's a couple of quotes that I need to go over. I want to make sure they were quoted correctly. Trump said, "When I win, I will immediately bring prices down, starting on day one. We will drill, baby, drill," he said, referring to increasing domestic oil production. That's going to bring down prices of everything. Now, a couple days ago, regarding groceries and bringing those prices down, he said, "It's hard to bring things down once they're up. You know it's very hard." So here's the issue. Nobody credible has said that the Trump tariffs will in any way bring down prices for you. I just posted a blog post, and let me make a note for that as well, that I'll put it here in reference to another video I did, where potentially the cost of student loans are going to go up what we pay monthly. Well, if that's going to increase, and we also have the Trump tariffs that are going to increase approximately 25% across the board, although he said numbers as high as 1,000%, then what does that do to you? It means you have to come up with more money just to break even to where you are today. So you either have to increase your income or you have to decrease your expenses. Both are hard to do. And if you don't, then what ends up happening is you get into more debt. So now we have this issue of the Trump tariffs. Now apparently Trump can't guarantee that the prices will go down. Okay, I know a lot of people like to rationalize, and again, this becomes political. I could care less. The reality is, I'm just going based on the facts. People tend to say, well, don't believe what he says. So I don't believe him when he said the prices will go down, or I do believe him now when he says it's hard to get them to go down. That's why this rationalization of trying to approve and decipher what Trump says, it's just pure gibberish. It's either can be done or it can't be done. That's why I keep saying cut through all the noise, all the smoke and mirrors. The reality is a tax will be paid by the consumer. It's always been that way. It's always going to be that way. No one's going to ship a product, have to pay more for it, the company, and then say, don't worry about it. We'll pay for it. It's not a big deal. It doesn't work that way. Maybe one particular instance, the product was defective, but in mass, all these thousands of products coming in by one company, good luck, it's not going to happen. So now let's get into the other issue of, there is that one story about regarding groceries where a woman went to buy 3 apples. I don't know where he got that story from, and then found out the price and returned 1 apple. How expensive were these apples that just one was enough to get by? Not to mention, as part of the story, Trump said that she returned the apple to the refrigerator. I've never been to a grocery store that has apples in a refrigerator, but that's just me. But the other issue is this issue now with mass deportation. And this is why I keep saying we have to be careful, cut through the political noise, cut through the gibberish, stop rationalizing, believe this, don't believe that. Just focus on common sense. The tariffs will cost you more. Student loans are probably going to increase. So that's two areas you're going to get hit from, left and right. Now we have the other issue of mass deportation. Mass deportation is tied into migrant farm workers. If there is less migrant farm workers, guess what the law of supply and demand says? The less supply, right? The more demand, prices are going to go up. So while there's border issues, and that's been going on now for decades, this isn't something new. By the way, here's a fun fact that'll scare everybody. Most illegal immigration takes place through, not the border, it takes place through airports on visa overstays. Do you know why we can't shut down the border? Because tourists aren't scary. It's kind of hard to sell that, and we would lose a lot more money. So it's just easier to focus on those that come in through the border, even though there's more people coming in through this side. Doesn't make sense. Of course not, because these are political talking points. They're not based on any single reality. And by the way, those are government figures based on the overstays. It's not like I'm grabbing them out of thin air. So if there's less people available to do that work, then you're going to have a shortage supply. If that supply is short, again, so law of supply and demand means the prices go up. So if you're getting hit with tariffs, you're getting hit with student loans, and now farming is going to, the products, whether it's apples or oranges, whatever, if that's going to be more expensive, then you're getting hit on multiple angles. So, again, you can be a Trump supporter or you can be anti-Trump. What I am talking about is purely simple math. I don't like to dig into the details on GDP and everything else, because it's easy to get lost again, in the smoke and the clouds and everything else. The reality is taxes get passed on to consumers. The reality is if there's less apples going around, since there is one more apple at least in the refrigerator. That was funny. One more in the refrigerator. Well, again, that's going to drive up cost. And so you have to be careful. What a lot of people are doing now is they're saying, well, before those tariffs come in, let me go ahead and make those make those purchases. Let me go buy a car now. Let me go buy a motorcycle, whatever it is that you want to buy. That's great. But we have to look at the long term too. If you get hit with student loans, tariffs, and a supply chain shortage, which increases the prices, while you bought something to save money to avoid the tariffs, if your monthly expenses go up, then you've got a problem on your hand. So keep that in mind. You have to analyze your personal situation and make a decision. Is getting into more debt now the right thing to do? Because potentially you might be in more debt anyway come next year. And so again, this is based strictly on what Trump says. I'm going to start with the tariffs, etc. The student loans, one representative, it's just a bill she introduced, but it was basically it's the College Cost Reduction Act, which is likely to increase the cost of college. And the problem with student loans is we know student loan forgiveness is out the door. So all these things could end up in increasing your monthly budget. All right. So be careful with any decisions you make financially moving forward, because again, a car payment, it's not going to get rid of it in 2 months, right? This car payment's going to stick around for 5 years. That doesn't even exist anymore, does it? Now it's like 6 and 7 year car payments. So keep that in mind. All right. Any questions or comments, feel free to post them in the comment section below. Doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. Doesn't matter. I'm here strictly talking about debt management and some of the issues that we could face moving forward. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a good weekend. Have a good rest of your day.